Senator Rand Paul joins us now, one of the biggest fiscal hawks in the Senate. And sir, it's good to have you back on. One big, beautiful bill doesn't sound like the kind of thing you usually like to hear.
Well, it sort of depends. I mean, there are a lot of things that do unite us. The tax cuts is big. I mean, it's huge. $4 trillion worth of tax cuts that are already in place. So basically, the American economy is predicated upon these tax cuts. If they go away, it's a tax increase. So that unites almost all of us. I don't know that any Republican is against not only keeping the tax breaks, but making them permanent. They have been a big boon for the economy. Nothing is probably more important than keeping the tax cuts in the bill. Unites all of us. On drilling and allowing more permitting from the federal government to drill on federal lands, I think it unites virtually all of us on that as well. The things that are potential at dividing us would be raising the debt ceiling with this bill. So if there's an attempt to raise the debt ceiling, I won't vote for the bill. And the reason is I haven't voted for the spending. I've voted every time against expanding the spending. I've voted for balanced budgets. I've introduced balanced budgets. The people who need to be ashamed or need to be participating in a day of shame and voting for the raising of the debt ceiling are the Democrats and the big government Republicans who vote for the spending. It's the way it's always been done in the past. Conservatives have never voted to raise the debt ceiling because we don't vote for the spending. It's not our responsibility. It's the people who vote for the spending and for the debt to vote for it. So hopefully they'll keep that off of the reconciliation bill. If they do, I think we can stay united enough to pass the bill.
If, what do you think happens if Democrats come out and say we're not going to vote for this? If it can't get now, if it's reconciliation, does it just need 50 in the Senate?
Yeah, it just needs 50.
And this big bill would only need 50.
Yeah, but it needs virtually every Republican in the House. And so what I'm telling you and what I'm hoping conservatives will hear across the land, conservatives like myself are all for virtually everything in there, securing the border, cutting taxes. We're for the whole package, but we're not for raising the debt ceiling. And that's already been evidenced. At Christmas time, we had this. Most of the Freedom Caucus voted against raising the debt ceiling. So as long as they're separated out, you can keep all the Republicans together. But the one way to destroy it, the one thing that destroys it, is sticking the debt ceiling on this bill. So I hope the powers that be will not do that.
You think in the House, like Chip Roy and Massey and those fellas wouldn't go for that either?
I can't speak for them. All I can say is that 38 of them, and I think those two are included, voted against the package that raised the debt ceiling. I will vote against any package that includes raising the debt ceiling. So let's hope we can come together on the things we agree on. Tax cuts, securing the border, hopefully spending cuts. I want spending cuts to be part of this as well.
Well, and I think the concerns that you and others have were heard by Trump, because when he spoke at that news conference yesterday, I don't know if you heard him, but he mentioned something about, I'm all for cutting spending. I mean, I think he's definitely getting that, he's getting that message. And he's been a rather spendy president in the past. I mean, he did, that was maybe one of the flaws that he had. If you're a fiscal conservative, was looking at how much debt he incurred. I think he's gotten your message, though.
Yeah, and it's, I think the public is with us. I think the business community is with us. I think people are seeing this cliff, this fiscal cliff that's coming upon us.
It's
Social Security is going to be bankrupt. Social Security will be bankrupt in 2034. We have to start cutting expenses. We have to do everything we can to encourage the economy to grow. That helps to balance your budget. But we also need to cut expenses. 2/3 of all the expenses are entitlements. You have to look at entitlements. The remaining third, half of it's military. You have to look at military. The problem is in my caucus, I hear them clamoring. The military hawks want more military money. But the only way they get that, by busting the caps, is they usually give the Democrats more welfare money. So it's warfare and welfare. They go together. And that's what the clamor is now. The clamor isn't actually in my caucus for balancing the budget. The clamor among the establishment, big government Republicans, is for spending more money on the military.
Understood. Totally understood. If there's one, I'm always screaming about the debt. I can't believe what we're doing to the future generations in this country just so we can live a little bit higher on the hog. It's so despicable. Everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news. No spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmitt Tonight on Newsmax.